Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door. Please excuse my sleepiness. It's 7:49 in the morning, but I woke up this morning, switched my phone on, and lots of different WhatsApp groups and tweets all went off telling me that Tony Pulis had been fired from Sheffield Wednesday after just 10 games. This broke late last night, 11:07 p.m. You can see there. Sheffield Wednesday have terminated the contract of manager Tony Pulis with immediate effect. Let's see what they had to say. Wednesday have terminated the contract. Pulis joined the Owls in November, posted 1 win from 10 league games. So immediately keen to point out his record straight away. Sometimes we wish the manager well. We've decided to go on our separate ways. Not here. The performances and results have not been of the level expected since Tony Pulis was appointed. There are also other issues which have had a bearing on this decision. So maybe we are speaking out of both sides of our mouth there. Is it the performance, the 7 points from 10 games, or is it the other issues, whatever they are? I think we know really. Pulis said in his first press conference he was going to come in, give an honest assessment, and perhaps his honesty wasn't very well received. On the pitch, 7 points from a possible 30 is not acceptable. I mean, let's just stop there. That's just absolute outright spin, isn't it? 1 win in 10, you can say that, but 7 points in 30, you're trying to get that, there was 30 points available. Well, we all know, who's followed the Championship, that 10 points from 30, as in 1 point per game, as in 1 in every 3 points, would likely make you stay up. So, I mean, we're into spin. If I wanted to spin that the other way, I'd say he's 1 win away from it being acceptable. So, some flowery language and choice of numbers here. I feel I must make a change with over half the season remaining. Again, I'm going to stop there. What does my whiteboard say? It's round 22 tonight. So yes, statistically, we are over 1 game. We are over half a season remaining. We're 2 games away from half the season remaining. But yes, okay, fine. Whatever. First team coach Neil Thompson. Is that Neil Thompson who used to play for Ipswich? Let me know in the comments. Will take charge of Tuesday's game. Obviously, it is Tuesday now against Middlesbrough. So look, this is... I've gone through it, but let's just go to one line. There are also other issues which have had a bearing on this decision. You don't bring somebody in with, 30 years experience, Pulis, outside of a transfer window, give them 10 games, they score 7 points from the 10 games, including 4 points from the last 2 games. So the trend is upwards, albeit over 2 games. But you don't bring them in and then literally, what are we, December the 29th, 5 days before the transfer window opens, and get rid of them because of their form on the pitch. I'm sorry. Come on, Mr Chansiri. Sometimes you're treated unfairly, but come on, really. This is surely down to money and potential movement or lack of therein going forward in the January transfer window. I'm speculating. I wasn't in the meeting. None of us were, but come on. It's not because of the form, really. Is it? Really? Well, you let me know in the comments. Here's some reaction. That's Alan Biggs, who's very good on Sheffield stuff. Pulis sacked by Wednesday. Wow. January issues and straight talking certainly suggested a possible split. And Pulis has played this, I think, reasonably well in terms of politically, because, I'm repeating myself, he was very clear he'd give an honest assessment, and maybe, as I say, it hasn't gone down well. That's Peter, who's a good follow for Sheffield Wednesday there. Confirmed reports of a failure to pay players in June, later resolved, and in November, still not resolved. So obviously, we're in December. that would be the last load of wages. I don't know if they do normal PAYE, where you'd be being paid about now, wouldn't you, towards the end of the month, although a lot of firms and organisations do it prior to Christmas. But hey, they're not the sort of numbers we're talking about the Championship football as well. It's irrelevant what they earn. You sign a contract that says when you'll be paid, you should be paid it, shouldn't you, frankly? So there are the worries in the background. Here's just the timeline of absolute chaos. And we've said it many, many times on the channel, in the Championship and in most leagues. There's only a few things that will get you relegated. You're just too small. Perhaps you're Yeovil or Burton, or, without being patronising, maybe Wycombe this season. And you've got up there. You don't want to shoot for the moon and endanger your club. And down you go. You're just a little bit too small. The other thing is owners and is chaos. And this is it, isn't it? It's absolute chaos here at Wednesday. There it is, 31st of July. Wednesday deducted 12 points for the FFP infraction. 4th of November, Wednesday points deduction reduced from 12 to 6. So then 5 days later, Gary Monk fired. He was the boss from the start of the season and for last season, which was equally chaotic, like third in the league for the first half, and then I think only worse than Hull, or only Hull were worse, in the second half. Then Pulis comes in 4 days later, and then we're, about 6 weeks after that, Pulis has gone. Owners relegate clubs. Chaos relegates clubs. And obviously, we know Sheffield Wednesday is a big club with a storied history, but I don't know if anyone's got the numbers or any information. I'd love to see info on clubs that have 3 managers in one season, because I suspect the percentage of them that go on and get relegated is very, very high. I'm talking permanent managers, obviously, which they're going to master now this season, if master is the correct word. So absolute chaos. There is the Pulis 10. I mean, we could literally remember all of them. What I will say is Mr Chansiri has brought up his 7 points in 30, but if you did want to argue it the other way round, red card in 17 minutes there against Preston. He's played away at Swansea, they're second. He's played Stoke, they've got 12 clean sheets and are on the edges of the playoffs. He's played Reading with another red card in there. Yes, I know Reading fans will tell me they should have had about 5 penalties in that game, and there may be something in that, but Reading are in the top 6. Norwich are top. So his first 5 games were rather difficult. Okay, you'll grant it the next 3 0 points against Huddersfield, Barnsley and Forest. Well, Barnsley, actually, you can argue, one of the form teams at the moment. But then last 2 games, they've got 4 points. So spin works both ways, Mr Chansiri. You can spin it right back, and particularly you can say that start there playing, with the red cards in 2 of the games and playing the current top 2 plus one of the current top 6 and a side that never concedes any goals. You can spin it back the other way in terms of Pulis' actual record. But come on, guys, he's not been sacked for his record, has he, really? There is the relegation picture. Obviously, Wednesday, 6 points knocked off. As I mentioned, Wycombe really struggling at the bottom, and some sense Rotherham are going to be forced to play essentially today with a waterlogged training pitch and the COVID things under the threat of possible retribution, said Paul Warne. So they're not going to be in a good state at the moment. There are big clubs down there in Derby and Forest who seem to be more trending the right direction. And I suppose the big issue for everyone down there is that Coventry are, at the moment, the antithesis of Sheffield Wednesday. They're organised, they're stable, they've got a pattern of play, and they are 7 points above relegation. So in terms of that picture, Wycombe look likely to go 2 wins in 21. Rotherham, you may well imagine Derby and Forest trending upwards. QPR is your one if you're a Wednesday fan and you think you can get out of this, because Warburton's trending downwards and not popular there, and we go into January with possible Bright Samuel may well want to get out of there and his contract's up in the summer. So there's possible chaos ensuing at QPR, but still, you've got to get yourself out of there. And I mean, that would be the hope for Wednesday, that a Wickham, a Rotherham, and I mean, I suppose Coventry could tank in the second half of the season, but they're 7 points above it. But hey, we all know what matters is your own form, and it's not been great, has it? If you add the 6 points on, Wednesday would be obviously the 6 point deduction. It would be up in 20th, but we're 3 managers in. There's issues with paying players apparently, and this has happened just before the transfer window opens, January the 2nd, isn't it? So, yeah, January going to be very, very interesting, isn't it? Here they go. I think that's Bet Victor. Front runners here for the Sheffield Wednesday job. Danny Cowley, we'll come back to Danny Cowley because that does make some sense. But, I mean, look, Eddie Howe's not going to take it. Bilic is not going to take it. Cook's just had chaos at Wigan. Is he going to want to work for Chansiri? Warne is entrenched, I guess, at Rotherham and wouldn't walk out. Certainly not to go a few miles down the road. Appleton, why would you leave Lincoln? Lowe and Plymouth, yeah, possibly. It takes someone with broad shoulders at the moment to take this, wouldn't it? Grant, McCann, again, up the top of the league there with Hull in League One. Alex Neil at Preston, no. Why? Nigel Pearson, I guess, is links with the clubs. But you start to say, why would you take it? And the only one that seems to make sense is the idea with Danny and Nicky Cowley that they worked up through Lincoln to get a championship job, as in at Huddersfield, replacing Sievert last year. And you think they're getting a year one parachute job, but obviously Huddersfield haven't, basically gave the parachute payments to facilitate the change of ownership. It was like at Sunderland, which is never a good comparison to make in terms of the longevity and good running of your club. But so they went in at Huddersfield, sort of kept them up, and Huddersfield have wanted to go a different way. To be fair to them, it's working thus far with Carlos Corberan. So what you have there is you have a manager who's done championship level for a short term, who feels a little bit wronged and has got a point to prove, and they might go in aggressively at Sheffield Wednesday and think, no, we're going to go in, we can do this, this is our level. And frankly, if you want a championship job, and the Cowleys have been out now since the summer, what else is going to come up? Okay, we've already mentioned QPR might come up at some point, but I don't really know what else is coming up. And again, with the championship, unless you're getting either a big club in a bad state, which Sheffield Wednesday would be, but hey, looking like a pretty hard owner to work for. Obviously, the caveat to that is he did plumb in a load of money and get very close with Carlos Carvajal playoff final. But hey, that's done now, and he does appear to be a hard owner to work for. But yeah, you want to either a big club in a bad way or one of the plum jobs. And with people like Slaven Bilic and Eddie Howe on that list waiting around for the really plum jobs or even higher, if you are a Cowley, this might be the only way back in. But we'll see what he does. What I will say is, and sorry Wednesday fans, but it doesn't matter who they bring in. If the chaos is going to continue, if there's issues with money and paying players, if the transfer window is going to be an absolute mess and the manager can't do anything, you're going to get a mix of chaos, an ageing squad with not too many assets, some of which, I mean, Chansiri's been trying to get Jordan Rhodes out of that contract for since about the day he signed it, hasn't he? So essentially, it's not a very good job at the moment, is it? You're going to come in, there may be nothing in the transfer window. People will come again for Bannon, won't they? And I don't particularly understand who would have a better list of contacts than than a Tony Pulis in terms of ex-players and people that come and do him a favour for 5 months to make that transfer window work. So, yeah, you can bring in Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp or, whoever, Marcelo Bielsa, and do pattern of play all day. But if there's chaos around them, then it doesn't really matter. And do they have the time to do anything? So it doesn't look good for Sheffield Wednesday. And I'm starting to look for reasons outside of Hillsborough why they'll stay up, as in who are the other 3 teams that may finish below them. So I guess the best case scenario now is Cowley's come in nice and aggressive, or they can get a Paul Cook and he can do something there. But again, you start to say, why would people take this? You have to have broad shoulders and a big ego to not look at this as, well, I'm doomed to failure, and this makes my CV look a little bit rubbish if I do take it, and either frankly don't last until the end of the season or do take it and go down. So yeah, any of those guys? You tell me. Very messy at Wednesday, as I said earlier. I think, to summarise, to me, it sounds like Pulis has gone in. He's tried to do what it would take to keep them up, i.e. tell the truth to Chansiri and try and make some moves in January, and one or other of those things hasn't gone over well, and out he's gone. I think it's not a great job now. I think clubs that have 3 managers in a season don't tend to end up very high up in the table, and the job now just doesn't look attractive. And again, broad shoulders and a big ego is what it's going to take from somebody to go in there. Oh, what a depressing one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Firstly, what do you think has happened? Do you agree with me in terms of Pulis speaking the truth and not being allowed to do anything in the window? How do you think it's going to play out? How do you think the window is going to go? Well, what are they going to be able to do? Are they going to be able to do enough to pull themselves away from the bottom of the table, given that you've got Forest and a Derby who are likely to move away at, I think, probably a slightly more consistent rate than Wednesday are at the moment? And who do you think should go in there? But why would you want to at the moment? Who's gonna take this job? Deary me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tony Pulis out after 10 games and 45 days at Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, good morning, by the way. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.